Hello and welcome to The Hero's Word. I'm Andre, and joining me for this episode is our good friend and loyal customer, Jess.
Hello.
So, last night, Jess and I had the opportunity to go check out Batman: The Killing Joke in theaters. And for me, it was a pretty great moment because the last time I got to see anything Batman animated in the theater was way back when Mask of the Phantasm came out. So it was kind of excellent to get together with some friends and check out the newest installment of DC's animated film, Batman: The Killing Joke. So we had a blast seeing this movie, very much so enjoyed it, but of course, as a comic book connoisseur, I did have a couple issues with it, and I know Jess can speak to that as well.
So, if you're not a comic book fan, anyone that's new to comics watching this movie, you're probably going to enjoy it as most people in the theater did. As a comic book reader, you might have some issues with this movie. So the first 40 minutes kind of concentrates on only Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, which is not in the comic book. I kind of felt it was a little unnecessary to have it go on that long, but once you get into The Killing Joke, it literally is directly out of the comic book, word for word. It was great to see Mark Hamill as the Joker, very creepy, captured that darkness of the story perfectly. So I really enjoyed it. Again, except for the first part of the movie, if you kind of skip that, then you just kind of go into it watching it,
yeah,
and it's a great movie.
I think that's definitely something that needs to be said. The first part of the movie was totally not from Alan Moore's book, The Killing Joke. So they deviated quite substantially. It was a pretty cool Batgirl adventure story, and I think the goal for them was to kind of portray Batgirl in a light and make her seem very, very important and crucial to show that when that horrific event happens to her, it's a very big loss. However, I think they missed the ball on kind of the characterization. I think they tried to make this part of the story too adult and too mature. I gotta say, when I first read The Killing Joke, I was a young guy. It was the first graphic novel that I had purchased, prestige novel book. So I had to use all my allowance to get it, and it was awesome. The art was fantastic. The story was dark. I'd never read a Batman book quite like that. But the darkness that was portrayed in the graphic novel was definitely something that was more of a mind trip. It wasn't necessarily overt, and I really felt that they were really pushing it, and there's no interpretation. They are telling you that this is going to be a dark, gritty, and I would probably say too sexy of a story. And
I agree.
For the kind of like the spoiler, if you've probably read it online already, but the biggest issue was for me that the deviation was they really implied and not implied. They outright showed that Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Barbara Gordon have a fling. And it's just like, wow, this is like out of nowhere, like Batman, this is his sidekick. This is somebody that he's mentoring. So I could see that maybe there would be some level of attraction, but I would have to think that Batman, of all people, respects Gordon enough not to sleep with his daughter. And it almost made things worse when she's just like, oh, it was only sex, take me back. Let's go fight crime together. It's like, yeah, I don't think, the story...
I felt it was a little lopsided.
Oh, very lopsided.
Because it really, if that scene wasn't in the movie, it wouldn't affect it. So it didn't really need to be in there.
Didn't add anything.
They were trying a little too hard. Also, there was a lot of comedic, and then straight from the comedic part, there was a lot of darkness. So you kind of have to just go in not with a lot of expectations, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think for this particular book, because it is such a great graphic novel, this is the origin of the Joker. This is the book that countless people as Batman fans or comic readers just love this book. And unfortunately, I don't think the movie lives up to the grandeur that was the graphic novel. And we got to look at the people involved, like Bruce Timm, who's done all the animated stuff, was behind this, and Brian Azzarello, who's a great writer. you know, they're part of this. You've brought back Mark Hamill to voice the Joker, and you also bring back Kevin Conroy as the definitive Batman. So a lot of great people made this. I just do not know who, when, what, where, and how they all could decide and sign off on having this relationship between Batman and Barbara Gordon. Now, this brings up a couple other times. I'm like, can't only blame DC for this. This is, you know, DC, I think this is a mistake. But we saw Marvel do this same kind of thing years and years ago with Straczynski on The Amazing Spider-Man, where he had Gwen Stacy have relations with Norman Osborn, and she had 2 kids out of it, and that was just gross. Yeah. And then we saw it in the 300 movie where they had a whole scene built and shot for the Queen where she's raped in order to help Leonidas. So I think somewhere people aren't writing good enough character moments to make female characters important without implying sex and value to their bodies.
Just don't know what to do with them.
I think that's true. Yeah. And I think really, if you go back and you talk about and you read The Killing Joke, what the Joker does is just horrific anyways. It didn't matter that it was Gordon's daughter that was shot. The Joker was there to get Gordon and to torture Gordon. So if it was Gordon's son, if they had still been living there and he got shot, same presence. The Joker said he set out to break Gordon. So it's a horrific thing to happen to anybody, man, woman, child, you know, parent, spouse. So I don't think you didn't have to build Barbara Gordon up at the beginning of this just to show how shocking it was and how devastating it was for her to get shot by the Joker. So hopefully you still check out the movie. I think it is worth seeing.
I think if anything, go see it for Mark Hamill.
Definitely. He's fantastic as always. And I think it is it's one of these films that they were bold enough to make it. Maybe they just didn't make it right. So that's our opinion of The Killing Joke. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we can talk more about all things Marvel, DC, comic books, as well as movies. That's the hero's word, and thanks for watching. If you like our video, please click the like button, and we're showing you a couple other videos for you to check out. If you continue to enjoy our content, please hit subscribe.